Welcome to another installment of r/Pettyrevenge, where today, OP gets revenge by ruining his stepmother's wedding dress. Before we get started, if you enjoy these Reddit stories, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're new here, welcome. I make videos compiling Reddit stories from all sorts of different subreddits. As always, let me know which story you enjoyed the most, and feel free to suggest a subreddit you think I should visit. Now let's move on to the first story of the day, which was posted by chillboy22. Tried to get my car towed, gets his instead. Happened a couple hours ago. I was in a hurry to get to the bank and cancel my account since I'm poor as dirt and debt was starting to pile. I was kind of late, so I parked on a bad spot. Bald guy in a Toyota arrives while I'm parking and starts berating me to move my car or he will get it towed, all the while screaming and pointing at a relatively far away, legit parking spot. Now, I'm in a hurry because my debt increases for each and every day my account is still open, and it's the first time in months I can afford to pay for it, but I can't afford to get my crappy car towed. So I oblige and move my car. When I'm walking all the way back to the bank, I realize this Dumbo just parked in the place I was before. So I called the towing service and got back inside the bank. When I got out 25 minutes later, Dumbo was there, his Toyota was not. I waved my hand at him and walked towards my parking spot. Unexplainably mad bald guy. If you're reading this, suck it up, my dude. Wait a minute, this bald guy makes no sense. Why would you berate someone for parking in that spot and threaten to get them towed and then proceed to park in it yourself? Something tells me he just wanted a closer parking spot and didn't expect anyone to call the tow truck company on him. Little did he know, OP was feeling petty that day. Our next story was posted by DPP Jason. Kid in school who kept knocking my pencil off my desk. So back in middle school, I had this kid who would always knock my pencil off my desk at the start of class before the teacher showed up. It wasn't really a big deal, but it was still annoying. I grew up watching Mr. Bean and I recalled a skit he did once and decided to recreate that as a form of revenge. I prepared for the next day. I come into class and set my pencil neatly on my desk. I take my time with it as though placing this pencil perfectly is the most important thing in the world to me. I then give the guy a smile. He stands up and swats it off my desk. I continue to smile at him. I don't flinch. I maintain eye contact as my hand reaches into my pocket and I pull out another pencil. I place it neatly right where my first pencil had been previously. Dude blinks and swats it off my desk. Again, I don't stop calmly smiling. I pause and then reach into my pocket and pull out another pencil and place it on the desk. At this point, the kid snorts a chuckle. This little morning ritual was starting to get interesting. Other kids were watching now. He knocks that one off too, and it goes flying. I pause, longer now. I wait to see the gears turning in his mind. Does he have another? Yes. I place another on the table and continue to smile. Dude laughs for real this time. This time he swats it off because he wants to see how far this goes. I reach into my pocket and begin to frown. I look up at him as if to say I'm all out. His smile begins to fade. I reach into my other pocket and begin to grin once more. I place another pencil on the table, again. Again, I take my time to carefully line it up on the table. Dude laughs hard and swats it off again. The whole class is watching now with amusement. Alright, time for the big guns. I reach into my coat pocket and draw out a stack, 30 pencils or so, and just roll them onto the table, into as neat a line as I can manage. The whole class erupts with laughter. After a bit, he seems to think, alright, you've had your fun, and begins frantically swatting them all off my desk. I look up at him. I am unfazed, unblinking, still smiling. I withdraw another pencil and place it neatly on my desk, making sure to line it up as precisely as possible. Dude bursts into laughter, holding onto the desk to keep him from falling to his knees. Alright, you win, he said appreciatively. He helped me clean them all up and we became friends for the rest of that course. Here's a link to the sketch which inspired this petty revenge. Damn OP, that's actually brilliant. You handled that situation unlike any other teenager would. Something tells me you did very well in school. Our next story was posted by Mr. Kerfuffle. Somebody tried to stand in a parking spot to hold it so they could move closer. First time post in this thread. Not great with grammar, so please forgive me. I was reading through this thread and it jogged my memory. I think OP means subreddit, but let's continue. One afternoon around 5 p.m., around 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Relevant later. In the US, my wife, my in-laws, my 2 kids, and I are packed in a parking lot outside of a little market. There also happened to be a fair going on at the same time. There being so many of us, we had to take 2 vehicles. That being said, my mother-in-law is handicapped and has the parking that comes along with it. However, there was no handicap parking spots available, so I found 2 parking spots, one being closer than the other. I took the parking spot furthest away so they could park as close as possible, so she wouldn't have to walk far, as she has a bad back. As I parked, a woman got out of the passenger seat of a parked car further down and walked up to the open parking spot and took her stance. My in-laws tried pulling into the parking spot and the woman would not move. So I did the only reasonable thing you can do in that situation. I stood behind my in-laws' car and in front of the other woman's car, whom the lady standing was waiting for. She yelled at me to move, so I calmly said no. You can't hold that parking spot, she needs to move. She yelled some more and refused to budge. So I did the best thing I could. I told them I have all day and I sat in the middle of the parking lot in front of the car in the blistering heat. After about 2 minutes of me sitting there, the woman trying to hold the parking spot finally moved so my in-laws could park there. Man, my butt was on fire, but it was 100% worth it as she walked away pissed off. And to make matters better, she lost her other parking spot and I'm pretty sure they had to park a lot further than they were. I never understood people trying to hold a parking spot by just standing in it. First of all, that's actually illegal, and second of all, it's a car. If I really wanted that spot, I'll just slowly inch my car forward while slowly pushing you further and further back into the spot. You can't stop me. Our last story was posted by Kate P 2000. Ruining a wedding reception for fun and profit. When I was 13, so 8 years ago, my dad remarried after divorcing my mom 4 years before. Before the divorce, his fiancée had been his mistress. My mom is completely better off without him. And ignoring the fact that I wouldn't exist, I don't think she should have married him in the first place. Even if my parents weren't a good match, there's no excuse to cheat on your wife. This woman was effing vile in all sorts of ways. She constantly belittled me, made fun of the fact that I needed to take pills for my mental illness, despite being an effing pharmacist, I don't get it either, and was generally awful to me and my siblings. But she was a decade younger than my dad and reasonably hot, so he didn't give a crap how she treated us. The one time he actually listened to us about her is when they were thinking of having a baby, and my brother said he'd ask our mom to sue for full custody of us if they did. So anyway, they got married. I was a bridesmaid cause that B word had no real friends. The other 2 bridesmaids was her sister and my sister. My brother was the best man cause she didn't like my dad's best friend. He and my dad still don't talk to this day, even though the guy was like an uncle to me as a little kid. It was a wedding. Everything went normally. But at the beginning of the reception, before the first dance, we were taking pictures in front of a chocolate fountain, looking like the happy family we never were and would never be. I'm on the autism spectrum and have problem maintaining eye contact. This extends to looking at a camera. So when we had to retake photos because I wasn't looking, she leans down and whispers something into my ear. I'm not going to repeat it, but it involves the R word, and I don't like saying it. Anyway, I kinda snapped and decided she was going to pay for this. No one noticed, or at least no one called me out, when I started slowly moving the chocolate fountain towards the edge of the table. When it got to the edge, it makes contact with the back of that pure white wedding dress and slowly drips down. By the time she notices, it looks like she pooped herself. But for all anyone else knows, this was an accident. She has no spare dress and that stain is not coming out. So first dance, cutting the cake, speeches, everything. This woman has what looks like a poop stain on the back of her dress. It was a small revenge, but it was so worth it. What's supposed to be the happiest day of this stupid woman's life, and she's gonna remember that stain every time she thinks about it. They never did get the stain out and nobody knew it was me. Until now, I guess. Hi family, if you're reading this, Susie, You're a C-word and you deserve that chocolate stain. This revenge story is absolutely glorious. If you think about it, all those years that Susie was constantly belittling OP must have affected her psyche in one way or another. And when OP decided to forever ruin that memory of her wedding day, OP did the exact same thing by attacking her psychologically. So that revenge will live on for the rest of her life. That concludes this episode of r/Pettyrevenge. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, as this all really helps my channel grow and pushes me to create more videos. As always, I'll be posting videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, so turn on notifications to be notified for my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.